But the reason why your marriage is dull is because you thought that it was finished, it was a done deal. There's nothing more that you can do to make your marriage as exciting, as an adventurous as your relationship with your wife was, or your relationship with your husband was at the beginning. So the reason why your marriage is dull is because you stopped doing the things that you used to do to impress your wife or to impress your husband. That's why the marriage is dull. Remember the first few weeks, the first few months, there was never a dull day with your wife or your husband. Why? Because your main focus was them. You didn't even have any time for your boys or for your girls. Why? Because you had the love of your life who was taking most of your time, who was taking the majority of your time. And then every time you spoke about them, you always spoke good about them. You always spoke how he's the best man in the world, or how he's the best woman in the world. And the reason why you thought that he's the best man in the world, because you never even looked at other men, because you didn't see any reason to. Everything from your eyes, from your ears, from your mouth, it was all about your man. It was all about your woman. Well, that's why you could not see that other woman who just moved into the neighborhood. You see, that's why you couldn't see, that other man who just got hired and is working in the HR department, and all the women in the company are speaking about him. Why? Because you were focused on him, and you were always looking to do something to bring happiness to your man or to your woman. You see, every time you were away from them, you were thinking about them, and because you were thinking about them, you were thinking about what can you do to make them happy, to bring joy to your life, to their lives. Why? Because the goodness that you brought to their lives brought joy to your heart. And you were always happy to think about the stuff that you can do, to plan dates, to go out and do this together. And you didn't want the third person in the relationship. You didn't want anyone to come and interfere. Why? Because you just thought that the world was your little planet, that it belonged to you. It was like just you and her, or you and him. And then you married. And after you married, you no longer do the same things that you used to do. And now, because the fire that was in your relationship before you got married was because you always put wood onto the fire. You always put fuel onto the fire. That's why the flames were always burning. But after you got married, you no longer put wood, you no longer put any fuel into the fire. So the fire slowly just dies naturally. And eventually, there's no more fire. All you see is just ash. And you start to think that maybe it was a big mistake to get married. It wasn't a big mistake. You married because you loved making this person happy. You loved making this woman happy. You found joy in bringing joy to this woman, and she found joy in bringing joy to you. So everything that you did made you happy. And because you're no longer doing anything, you have nothing to be happy about. You're no longer planning anything exciting, so you're nothing to be excited about when you think about her or you think about him. So it has become dull, not because she's fat, or not because he's no longer passionate towards you, or not because he's no longer attracted to you. It's because you stopped doing the things that you used to do at the beginning. As a woman, you always wanted to dress to impress him. As a man, you always wanted to do things to impress her. But after you get married, you don't want to do these things. Why? Ask yourself, what is it about marriage that made you no longer want to do the things that you used to do to win the person to make you marry? Ask yourself, why did you marry? You married her because you enjoyed being with her and you enjoyed doing things for her to make her happy. You married him because you enjoyed being with him. You enjoyed doing things for him to make him happy. That's why you got married, unless there's another reason why you got married. But I want to focus on this one, in which you married because you enjoyed making that person happy. You found joy in bringing joy to the person that you love. That's why you married them. But after you married them, you stopped doing the things that made you marry them. What did you think was going to maintain the marriage? What did you think was going to make the marriage always have this spark about it, this happiness about it? What do you think was going to happen? You see, that's where the problem comes. You stop doing the things that you used to do. So now I command you to go back and do the things that you used to do. Think about everything that you used to do at the beginning, everything that you used to think about doing, and how that made you feel. How when you were preparing for a date, how you were picking out a dress to impress him, how that make you feel. How when you put it over yourself and you look yourself in the mirror and you were thinking, oh, he's gonna be impressed when he sees me. And how you were thinking about how she's gonna be happy when she receives these flowers. Do you see that? So all these things that as a man you used to do to bring happiness to your beloved made you happy before she even received them or before he even saw you in that dress. Then you were happy just to do it before he even saw. And when he was happy, you were even happier. Why? Because that which you did brought happiness to your beloved. And that made you happy because you were able to bring happiness to them. And that make you happier than they were, even though they were the ones on the receiving end of your expression of your love. So people talk about after being married, marriage becomes dull, marriage becomes boring. It's the problem is that you think that now you have this person, you no longer have to win them, you no longer have to impress them. The problem is that which you stop trying to win, you lose. You see, even a child, if you stop loving a child, impressing the child, you lose the child. Have you ever not seen when a child no longer wants to spend time with their own parents but want to spend time with someone else, maybe a friend of the family? Why is that? Because that friend is doing a lot of things to make the child happy. So the child now no longer wants to be with her or his own parents. He wants to be with the friends of his parents. Why is that? Because that child is receiving more love, more joy from that friend, from her own parents. And if she was to be asked, who would you want to live with? They're going to say Auntie so-and-so. Why? Because Auntie so-and-so is making that child happy. Love makes people happy. Love, the deeds of love, the expression of love in terms of deeds makes people happy. People who receive this love make them happy. And the people who truly are loving find joy in doing things, in expressing their love in deeds for the people that they claim to love. You see, so the problem is that when people get married, now they both wait. The husband is waiting for the wife to do something to make him happy, and the wife is waiting for the husband to make her happy by doing something. But in the beginning, no one was waiting for anyone. It would be like when the husband, when the man during the courtship stage would be saying that, I was thinking that this weekend we could go to so and so place, and the woman would be saying, oh, I already made plans. It's like a couple's thing. All my friends and then with their husbands are gonna be there. I was thinking we could go together. So it's like they're already competing about what they must do. The woman has plans, things to do, to do things with the husband so they could be happy and do things together. The husband also has things that he's planning. You see, but after they get married, they just stop. There's this thing that after you get married, you no longer have to go out on a date. Or after you get married, now you no longer have to try to buy things for your wife to impress her the same that you used to impress her in the beginning. And that is wrong. That is why marriage gets such a bad rap, because people stop acting like, the teenage love that they used to have. Look, a person must grow up, but you must never grow up in terms of expressing love in this. That one you must never grow up from. You must never grow up from that. And you must never mature too much to a point that you are too ashamed to show affection for your wife. Never do that. You see, because affection shows that you want this person. You want this person to be with you, to do things with you. The minute you feel ashamed of that, you're feeling ashamed of expressing how you feel to your own wife. You shouldn't be ashamed of that. And of course, there are things that you cannot do in front of the kids, but there are things that, kids must see. There's certain kinds of affection that children must see their parents doing. You see, holding hands, looking at each other in the eyes, just holding the hand and saying that I love you. Just holding her hand and telling her that you are the most beautiful woman in the world. Not because she is, but because she has your attention. And you don't see any other woman. All you see is her. When you think of a woman, you think of her. Did you see that? So men get it wrong. Women get it wrong when they think that after they get married, now they have to play the settling thing. No. When you getting married is not settling. This thing that when you're getting married, you're settling down is wrong. Getting married is picking the one person, the one spouse that you believe is perfectly suited for you. And there is no one else in the world who is perfectly suited for you than this woman or this man. And that means by picking them, by picking a woman, you're rejecting all other women, wherever they are, wherever they may be. And when you pick a man, you're rejecting all the other men, wherever they may be or wherever they are. So how can this be settling if you picked your best one? So it's not settling. You see, this is your best one, the best one that you picked amongst men, amongst women. They didn't have to be there for you to pick, but you picked the one that you saw, the one that you like, the one that matches you correctly in terms of balancing you and completing you. You understand? So when you have done that, you haven't settled. So marriage is not settling. Marriage is picking your best one and choosing to reject all the others who are out there, even though you've never seen them, and making the best of the one that you have. Because if you can't make the best of her, you're going to start thinking that there's someone who's best outside. And the minute you start thinking that there's someone who's best outside, you are no longer going to focus on the one that is in front of you. The Bible likes to say that love the one that you're with. And people think that it is very difficult to love the one that you're with. It is very easy to love the person that you're with. As soon as you just focus on them, you'll never be able to love anyone else because you're not seeing all the others. The only one that you're seeing is the one that's in front of you. And because it's the only one that's in front of you, all your deeds, all your energies, all your gifts are for their own benefit, not for anyone else. And because they are happy, they are most likely to respond in a loving way. And when they do that, that makes you happy because they're also going to show you love. You see, so you have to love the wife that you're married to. And to love them is not just to say, I love them, they know. No, you really have to go out and show it. Words means nothing as soon as you're married. It's all about action and character. Action, character was what maintains a man's love for his wife. It's what maintains a woman's love for her husband. It's what keep proving over and over again that you love this woman and you love this man. You understand? Because during courtship it's about words and all that. But once you're married, there's nothing more to say. It's all about showing it, expressing it, and doing it over and over and over again. And always reminding this person that I love you. I love you more than any other person in this whole world. And when you say that and they see your action confirming what you do, what you're saying, they believe that. But when you're saying that, but your action, do something completely opposite, they don't believe that. But because they're married, there's nothing that they can do. Do you see that? So don't let your marriage go dull. Keep doing the things that you used to do. Remember what you used to do and repeat it and do it over and over and over again. Do you see that? If you used to play on a swing, go and play on a swing. Don't let having kids make you think that now you're too old. No. In fact, the minute you have kids, that's when your love now must be stronger. Why? Because those kids must see what true love is through you. And when they see that, they would want to have the same thing that you have. They would want to get married. They would want to have children. They would want to have families. You see, so your marriage is not just about you two getting together and doing what you're doing. It's also a blessing to the world, to everyone who can see you. Look, when people see happy couples, they like that. They enjoy that. Why? Because everybody wants to be happy. And everybody wants to have someone in their lives who can help them, who can grow with them, who can live with them in joy and peace and prosperity. But when people see people who are married being miserable, not being happy, not having joy, not being peaceful, but being violent and abusive, people don't want to do that anymore. People don't want to get married anymore. But the reason why is because married people don't exude this thing, don't show this thing of joy, of saying that, you know what, this woman is the most beautiful woman in the world. I picked her among billions of women. This man is the most handsome. This man is most loving. And I picked him amongst billions of other men. That is what, when you marry, you're saying. When you marry, you're literally saying that I picked this man above all other billions of men around the world. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care how handsome they look. This is the one for me. For me, this is the richest, the most handsome. That's what you're saying when you marry a man. Do you see that? And if you cannot go out of your way to show him that he is that, he's gonna start to have doubts. When he has doubts, he's gonna try to look for backup. And when he look for backup, that's the end of your marriage. And when a man also does not show this woman that she's first priority, she's number one, she is the most everything in his life, she's gonna start thinking that maybe she's not what the man used to say at the beginning or before they get married. So she's gonna start to look for backup also. And when you start to look backup, that ruins the family, that ruins the marriage. You see, if I get married, I cannot stop doing what I used to do. I have to do. In fact, after I get married, I must do even more than I used to. Because now that you have this person, you have to cling on to them. You have to make sure that they don't look outside. They don't look outside the window. They don't try to see what the neighbors are doing or what they're eating or what they're having for lunch. Because everything that you have put on the table has caught their eyes, has put their eyes in a state of a trance that they cannot see anything that is going on outside of the table that you have set for them. And that table is you as a man. That table is you as a woman. So you always have to set yourself in such a way that you go out to impress your husband. You go out to impress your wife. This way, their eyes will always be in a trance, looking at you, being impressed by what they're seeing, being impressed by what they're looking at. And all these things are done in terms of deeds, in terms of doing things, the little things that a woman appreciates, the little things that a man appreciates. Even words of gratitude. I want to thank you for what you've done today. The house really looks clean. You are a wonderful wife. And you hug her and you kiss her, and tightly, that she feels that really this man means that what he's saying, that I am the most wonderful wife, the most wonderful woman in the world. And because people love compliments, she's gonna do more. You see that? When she compliments you in terms of the things that you do, in terms of being a good father, in terms of being understanding, in terms of being listening, you always gonna do those things. Why? Because you also want to be valued. It is just a natural thing. Everybody wants to be valued. Everybody wants to be important. Everybody wants to be seen as valuable. So everybody who received some kind of compliment from another person, they always want to go back to that person so they could give them more compliments. Will never be a person who can act humble and say, when you give them compliments and say, no, don't give me compliments. Of course, people are going to act like, do you really mean that? But what they're really saying, that bring it on. Keep telling me how good I am. And then because they want that, over and over again, they're going to keep doing that. So appreciation and gratitude make people to do even more for the people who are on the receiving end of the expression of their love, which they express in the things that they do for their beloved. Do you see that? So it is important that you never stop doing, you never stop giving, you never stop showing gratitude to your beloved, so that your love might not lose the flame of fire which you used to have. You must always throw in more wood, throw in more fuel, so that this love can be filled with fire and joy and peace and adventure and excitement. That's what love is for. It's supposed to be exciting and burning with fire, that when people look at that, they see the passion that burns in the eyes of both the husband and the wife, and they want that, and they realize that if they could find somebody who also matched them the same way, they could also have that. And the children grow up under that kind of environment. They also want to grow up, become wives and husbands, and do the things that they enjoy, the burning fire of true love, when a person received it from the person who truly loved them. Do you see that? So go back and do the things that you used to do that made the person that you married to marry you. Just go back and do the things that made your husband be impressed by you. Go back and do the things that made your wife be impressed by you, so that your love now can catch the fire once again and keep throwing the food. And keep throwing in the wood, so that this love can keep growing and become stronger and stronger. And your love could be a blessing to your kids and everyone who sees it. And that is all that I have to say about the subject. Thank you for listening.